Keep counting.
But I also got the chance to meet old factory workers who had just talked to him.
Carlo Bugatti is a very interesting Renaissance man. If you had to pick what figure in history he most closely approximates, I would say it might be Leonardo da Vinci, because Carlo Bugatti designed everything. It came into his head, he thought about it, he turned it out, whether it was gorgeous furniture with a Moroccan kind of overtone, whether it was painting, he learned how to oil paint and then did spectacular portraits, which are the toughest things to paint. Black sheep of the family, because a couple of years into art school he said, well, I'll never be as good as my father, I figured that out. And then the kind of crushing blow was, I will also never be as good as my younger brother, which is hard to swallow. He understood engineering probably better than he understood art, although I must say the artistic element of his engineering machined pieces were something to behold.
Ettore Bugatti came from Milan, which was a hive of artistic activity, and really engineering and art couldn't really be differentiated in many ways. Things were made by hand.
When you look at a Bugatti part, you never have the feeling it's just an engineering piece. It is not only beautiful to look at, it's also beautiful to touch.
Anything Bugatti, the front axle, the radiator, the rear axle, even if you open it, the things you don't see is bijou.
It wasn't just function that Ettore Bugatti was involved with, it was also form.
He was not only into cars. I think cars at a certain time became even boring for him. So if he saw something that he thought he could do better, he changed that. Or he did a drawing, what he thought this could look like. And he never looked at what other people did. He thought of him, I am really the best. And he said that to some journalists. The only other engineer that could probably be in my league is Vittorio Iano, who was the head of engineering of Alfa Romeo at the time.
He fought supercharging his cars for years. I mean, Alfa Romeo was supercharging, Mercedes was supercharging. Bugatti said, you know what, I'll build it to go faster. And, you know, by God, he did it. Ultimately, Jean Bugatti convinced him that superchargers were the way to go.
He had some very loyal employees until it all fell apart in the mid-1930s. Basically, they had a strike in 1936, Ettore was hugely offended by this and took off to Paris. And Jean carried on and did all the work thereafter.
Jean had to look after everything as a 25-year-old and had big problems selling his cars in the late 30s. But nowadays these cars are the most sought after ones, which is typical. It's in a way like a famous artist who never sold anything when he was alive. And when you look at a Type 50 surprofilé, and there's no bad angle on that car. You can look at that car for hours and don't get bored. And I think that's the greatest, Type 50 surprofilé.
Originally, I never would have said this, but the Touring 57S would be my ultimate car, which is a Jean Bugatti design.
The greatest tragedy of Ettore Bugatti's life was his son John, who was going to take over the whole company, and tragically died at age 32. So.
Peugeot that he licensed to Peugeot, and they made 3,000 of these little cars. They had an 855cc engine. And later on, for his own personal use, he had this designed and made this carriage, this gig, for around the estate. Single horsepower carriage. But you see Grand Prix Bugatti, which is just one of the classic cars of the day. It had an overhead cam straight 8. This was a 35C, so it's a supercharged car, and was just an amazing, successful piece that, along with the other 37 and 39 and 51, 1,000s of races in a 9-year period of a Jean Bugatti designed semi-profile body. There were actually only 2 of these built from the factory. Dual overhead cam straight 8, supercharged. It has a Grand Prix style chassis with a Grand Touring body. It is an amazing automobile. Family name with the Type 101. It's based on a Type 57 chassis, so it has the 3.3 liter dual overhead cam straight 8. It wasn't just referred to as Bugatti power in the process. What we have here is one of the 6 Bugatti Royales. It is a Type 41 Bugatti Royale. This is serial number 41111, which is the second. It was originally the Esker's Roadster. It had a beautiful Roadster body with no headlights because the man that ordered it, Armand Esters, said he wasn't going to drive at night. It didn't need any headlights. In 1938, a French politician bought the car and had this body by Henry Bender of Paris. And it is a Coupe de Ville body. It has a 4,300 millimeter wheelbase, which is a little over 14 feet. And it is an amazing vehicle. The car weighs close to about 7,100 pounds.
It's like a 12 meter and 12.7 meters. Weighed about 7 inches. Oh, Design was the Type 64. So all the latest and greatest that he could think of, he put into this car. Tragically, he was killed in 1939 in an automobile accident. So some of these chassis were never had any coachwork put on them. So Mr. Mullin acquired this chassis and had, through the collaboration of many artists, came up with this body design, thinking this would be Jean Bugatti's idea of what the latest, fastest chassis would look like. It's right now just suspended, the coach is suspended by these poles. And they can lower that, and then it actually is drivable.
This angle, get the best flare. Because we find
Wait, come here. It was designed in mid-1930s. Gentleman by the name. There's so many concepts in here that are most difficult in this aircraft in what was revolutionary. Back then,
This is the
and the original got as far as having number 2 engine fire, and that was actually never free. So by the time we're finished with this, although we've been delayed because Peter's been very kind and asked us to come out and screen it, in approximately, within the next 12 months, you'll be the only Bugatti aircraft that's ever flown. We've had that fabricated in the UK. Our engineering director is kicking around somewhere. What we're trying to do is do one thing, and that is take this aircraft to the masses and say, look how beautiful she is. Get her in the air, prove a point, and then hopefully take her on a little bit of a tour if someone will come along and say, here's some sponsorship guy.
Scary because it's so many.
Well, so you've got a 450 horsepower power plant.
Yeah.
Pushing out against that drivetrain.
Yeah.
That's scary. We're slightly different. We don't have too much of that problem because we're using smaller, faster, lighter engines. We've solved a centre of gravity problem that typically have, and that would have been a bit of a scary problem to fix there. And because they're smaller, it means
Engines offset like those two.
slightly, but they're going to be more like that.